Tennessee loses a player once again to the transfer portal. It was Bison Lang first, who I was not surprised with at all, who I didn't think was a good pickup at the time he signed, but I don't throw kids under the bus. I don't consider myself an elite talent evaluator, but I can pretty much tell you the Jimmies and the Joes from the ain't no way and no's. And to me, he was an ain't no way and no when it came to a high-level college football player. But Khalifa Keith, however, is one that I thought could grow into something. And he has decided to transfer out of the program. I want to be real clear. I don't think this is an ask around. I don't think this is a culture issue whatsoever. I just think this is an issue that his role at Tennessee would have been so limited that he would have never been happy. How many times do you see a fullback line up for the Vols? Basically never. You see a tight end line up as a fullback, but you don't see a guy who is just a fullback. And they're not going to start running the power I, and they're not going to change their offensive philosophy, even if they got who's the best fullback that's ever been out there. Best fullback.
Lorenzo Neal.
Okay, I was going back too far. Tom Rathman, Moose Johnston. We could. I don't care if they got that dude. They would. You know what they would do? They would move him to tight end or H-back. I mean, that is just not what they're going to do. So I can't tell you that I'm surprised by the Khalifa Keith, move to enter the transfer portal. Is this a loss for Tennessee? Yeah, because I thought he could play a neat little role, but I don't think it's anything you should be concerned about. As a matter of fact, yeah, I'm not high on Bison Lang, right?
Yeah.
I would argue that Bison Lang is a bigger loss than Khalifa Keith because at best he's going to play 8 snaps a game.
Yeah, Bison Lang was a depth guy. Khalifa Keith is a loss. Khalifa Keith would have been a loss, but not with the way they ran the offense this year, which was this. I thought they were always going to have Khalifa Keith come in when it was like set. When basically I thought Khalifa Keith would be their running back when there was less than 3 yards to go for a first down. I thought that was how they were going to play him. Kind of like, Dave, you know how in the NFL they have third down running backs now? That's kind of the thing they do.
Yes.
I thought Khalifa Keith would be the 3 yards or less to go running back. They put him in. But even on short yard, and I think Keith thought that too, to be fair. I think that's what he thought. And that's actually fair because you know this, Dave. If you're in on every 3 yards or less play, you can actually make a lot of plays. That's a lot of touches you can get if you do it right. In an era where
they don't use a fullback now, so
he would have been a running back on power running plays. The issue is,
see, I never ever believe that. I want to be real clear. That's where you and I see this maybe a little bit differently. I want to be really clear. I never ever believed that they were going to have a power back in Khalifa Keith at tailback.
Okay, I thought they were going to have a power back, but instead, as we have seen, what they do is they just line the tight end up at running back, and they're like, "Let's give him the ball," and they get under center and hand of the ball. When I saw that happening, I thought, you know what? There's just no room for Khalifa Keith now. It's funny. I see Jerome Bettis mentioned. I don't think there is a market for a Jerome Bettis running back anymore in the NFL.
Oh, no, I think there is, but I think you're talking about a special size speed ratio cat.
That's true. Jerome Bettis.
Yeah, we could say they would make room for Calvin Johnson at receiver too. They'd make room for Randy Moss. I mean, you're talking... Those guys are in a different level as far as overall big athletes.
Yes. No, that's fair. You're right. Because they can be power backs, but they actually have legitimate speed. Derrick Henry, basically, or an Eddie George.
Lance. Sorry, not to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's fine. I'll let Mike Allstott. That was a good one.
Okay, but no, here's one that strikes closer to home. And I'm sorry for my throat here. Will Bartholomew. Let's say Will Bartholomew crops up in the mid-state area as he did, and you sign him. Does he fit into this offense some way, somehow? And I will go ahead and tell you, I've got great respect for the Bartholomew family. I've got great respect for Will. He is one of my favorite all-time guys to cover. I don't think there's a home for him in this offense.
No, no, not at all. As a matter of fact, Will Bartholomew was part of a roster that was the last vestige of how you use a fullback and tight end before it went away. And I mean the 2001 team. Again, y'all wonder why Travis Stevens set the rushing record that year. The main tight end was not Jason Witten. The main tight end was John Finlayson, who was nothing but a blocker, Dave, right?
Oh yeah, he was a big offensive tackle, or
yeah,
smaller offensive tackle.
Yeah, exactly. Will Bartholomew was nothing but a blocker. And they used those two guys as the fullback and the extra tight end. That's why they had the number one rushing offense in college football that year with Travis Stevens.
Okay, you guys are bringing it. Greg Amsler going back in the day. This is probably before your time, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Greg Amsler. He could run a little bit. So, but I still don't think he finds a home in this offense. Not a consistent home, not more than 8 a game. Now, Derek says Sean Bryson. Derek, he plays tailback and he's good. I mean, Sean Bryson could have played tailback if not for the fact that they had 15,000 tailbacks that were slightly better than him. So, no.
Matter of fact, for those who don't.
I'm sorry, if Sean Bryson is a freshman this past year, he gets most of the carries instead of Peyton Lewis.
And for those who don't know, Sean Bryson played tailback in the NFL for a few years, actually. Mm-hmm. And more importantly than that, I don't know if people know this story. Sean Bryson entered the 97 season as the number 2 tailback on the roster behind Mark Levine before Jamal Lewis really emerged, which is an interesting story. But yeah, Sean Bryson is a guy who really doesn't. He willingly moved over to fullback, and he was an amazing blocker at fullback, but he could outrun. He had amazing breakaway speed. Didn't he shatter like every record? Wasn't he a physical freak too, and shattering every record workout wise?
Oh, yeah. No. Sean Bryson is not your typical fullback whatsoever.
Could Dave lift Sean Bryson?
I'm sorry?
Could you lift Sean Bryson?
Oh, no. Well,
you can't lift. He
was probably no, I couldn't do 2 plates. He's 225. That'd be 2 plates on each side. No. My shoulder about popped out of joint when I bench pressed you. Because I don't do free weights like that anymore. All right, so you guys are throwing heat. So I'm not trying to just turn the show over to the message board, but there was another one that was really good here. Go ahead, Caleb.
I wanted to dive in a little bit on the future of Tennessee's running backs because there's a really good chance Dylan Sampson's gone after this year.
Well, that's what I wanted to address. So can we turn it to a tailback talk for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Would we agree that I don't think somebody said on the message board that Dylan Sampson, pay him. It's not going to happen, but I can dream. I don't think it's a big dream. I mean, if you look at Dylan Sampson, who I understand you don't want more tread on your tires or whatever the case may be. If I'm Dylan Sampson and his family, I'll look at it, and if I'm honest, he is not okay. The past 2 to me running backs that were worth big time money in the NFL are Saquon Barkley and Ezekiel Elliott. I thought they were the 2 most complete, most special tailbacks, and you should pay them more than a running back is worth. And by the way, they're not worth much of anything in the NFL. They'll just plug another one in. Dylan Sampson is not an elite by NFL standards, NFL tailback. Can they get Dylan Sampson enough to stay? It's a long shot, but it's not an incredibly long shot.
I don't think so, because when you're not elite, you still get a payday. I mean, see Alvin Kamara, you get a payday after your rookie scale is up, and you got to go earlier to get your payday earlier as a running back. And I just don't think there's any amount of money that they could pay in college that would outweigh that, because I think Dylan Sampson's thought would be, grind for 2 years, hold out going into my 3rd year. The thing that's unfair, Dave, I don't know if you agree, they really need to get rid of the rookie scale for running backs, because running backs have such a short shelf life as is. But the problem is there's too many good running backs. I think running backs are just too good. There's too many good ones now. So there's not much of a drop off when you get in running backs based on who you get. But
okay, let me lay this scenario out there. Okay, I'm going to make you D-Samp's dad. You're Daddy D Samp or Daddy Samp. Okay.
Mhm.
And I come to you and I say, here's what I've been told, Daddy Samp. And I'm Dylan. I'm D Samp, Daddy Samp. Here's how the conversation goes. Daddy Samp, here's what I've been told. So I have been told that I'm probably a late round pick. Let's say 5th to 7th round because of the position I play and because there's so many running backs out there. And that's where I am there. But I can come back to Tennessee and I can be a guy that wins a championship. And man, Daddy Samp, we just lost the national championship game by 3 points to Oregon. And it was so close, Daddy Samp. And I really want to win a national title. And Tennessee just told me that they can give me $2 million to come back, Daddy Samp. Daddy Samp, you tell me what I should do.
In that situation, you take the $2 million and you come back, because $2 million versus a late round draft pick, you don't even know if you're going to get that second big contract. So I say you take the $2 million. But look, where I was going was, even if he leaves, though, I mean, look, Tennessee picked up Dwayne Morris. They flipped him from USC last week as a commitment. They still have Deshaun Bishop. Peyton Lewis is going to emerge as a good runner. Cam Selden is probably going to transfer, but he's still on the roster. They got Justin Baker coming in. Tennessee's got a collection of running backs. So with or without Dylan Sampson, again, the thing that we talk about with Dylan Sampson, you hate to say this in Tennessee's favor, but you're going to learn this. We'll see this next year. If Tennessee has a drop-off in their running game, it won't be because of Dylan Sampson leaving. It'll be because they lost Cooper Mays, Javonte Spraggins.
No, I agree. It was fun to have that little exercise, but when all is said and done, excuse me, I think Peyton Lewis is going to be special.
Totally agree.
All SEC special. So don't worry about that. And I did a little bit of research while we were sitting there talking. Even a 7th round pick, based off what I'm seeing, signs a multi-million-dollar contract.
Oh, I thought they only get like 800,000 or something. So, okay.
Well, I know the minimum, and I know this from talking to Jacob Warren. I know the minimum is like 855,000 if you make a team. So maybe you can do some more research there. But from what I'm seeing, Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the draft, will be able to sign a $4 million deal.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. And if you're smart, that sets you up for life if you play your money right.
Yeah, you can even not play your money right and still be set up for life once you get your head straight. So I would say that it's very unlikely that he will come back, unless he just did it out of heart. I mean, you have to remember, this is the school that Peyton Manning came back and he shouldn't have.
No, he should have. He should have. If Peyton Manning had gone, he would have been drafted by the Jets. He did that because he didn't want to get drafted by the Jets.
But by all logical standards, being the
my argument would be more like, I think it makes sense for quarterbacks to come back sometimes. I think more like John Henderson should not have come back. That was a mistake. Not really a mistake he wanted to, but like John Henderson lost a year of pay coming back to Tennessee.